Welcome back to 150 bucks with the Ghostman. So today, I wanted to make a video specifically talking about fasting. I have been on my fasting journey for about 15 days. Today makes day 16. This is my first time ever in my life disciplining myself hard enough to fast. We had a time period, me and my wife, where we cheated for about 3 days, but then after that, we had went back to get adamant. We're doing a 40-day fast, like Jesus, Moses, and any other prophet who has showed the progression of fasting and the benefits of it, what it can do for you, and how it can heal your mind and clear your mind and your detoxing. So it's always good to drink water to make sure that you're always hydrated, because for people who smoke, and me also myself being a smoker, I just got new knowledge that smoking actually it dehydrates the body and it makes you more hungry. It activates something in your brain, in the back of the brain. I can't remember the specific name of it, which triggers your hunger and makes you believe that you're hungry. But I also wanted y'all to hear these words about food. Marijuana.
I love marijuana when it's used the right way. The right way is using it as a tea. But what's crazy is the moment that you put fire to weed, it does the opposite. It clogs up the cells. It evaporates oxygen from the cells. It causes dehydration, and it kills brain cells. And when you put fire to it, it starts leaking out something called cytoestrogen. And this estrogen is actually used as a cellular proliferator. So you will see it basically effeminize men in certain type of ways. You see, and they did a study on it.
Effeminize?
Yeah, feminized, man. So, and I'm not talking, so when I say that it makes men effeminate, they think I'm talking about it makes them like a homosexual or it makes them gay, but I'm not even saying it in that way. It literally messes with the thought patterns of a man to make him do something more in a sensitive way than standing up and protecting. And they did studies on this stuff where you smoke weed and you put a man in a position or you put him under pressure. A man that's high is going to take the lazy way out rather than taking the bold protective way out. You know what I'm saying? So when you steep weed, you get the right THC and the cannabinoids that you need, and it's very, very healing, and it rebuilds the molecular structure. And when you smoke it, you actually kill brain cells. This is scientifically proven, and all people got to do is look up peer-reviewed science articles if they think I'm lying. So I think it's perfect if you use it the right way, but I don't think we're supposed to be putting fire to anything, not even to our food. So.
And I co-sign with everything he's saying, because as I could think about times where I got high to different things that it does for me mentally. Like, it clogs up your mind. And when he touched on how men get lazy and that protective state that's in you, people choose to take the lazy route. Like, say, scenario, you and your girl, y'all go out to the club, y'all did y'all pre-drinking and pre-smoking, y'all get there. As a man, when you get there, you don't want to have to get there and do too much. You don't want to argue, you don't want to fight with nobody. Versus somebody who show up sober. They show up sober, their mind is clear, so they more aware of their surrounding and the people around them. If anything goes wrong, they have full control of their body. Like, it's not like when I'm fasting throughout the day, like, I can tell the difference between when I'm sober and I'm high. Because when I'm sober, I'm able to operate better. And plus, I really want to do more education on that word sober, to learn what that word really means, because words hold power. But it's a whole different feeling versus when you're high. You just get super lazy. You don't feel like doing this. Like, things that you would have did when you were sober, like putting more effort, 10 times more effort to do something, 100%. Now it's like when you get high, you get 50. You might get lucky if you get 75%, because some people find productivity. But as he said, we're not supposed to be putting flame to anything. As he said, we could use it as a tea. I condone to people who cook and make edibles out of it. You know, not all the sweetness and all of that people do in the edibles, but just the idea of baking marijuana, which is something that's supposed to be pure. Another thing about people with baking and making edibles, make sure that the marijuana that you're using is pure. It's not it's not chemical or man-made sprayed all over with these different type of so-called flavors, which are chemicals to get you to just names alone nowadays attract people. Um, Cookie, Cookie Bush, that Joe Biden, whatever, whatever they want to name the pack. Words hold power, colors hold power. So if the pack is colorful, people gonna want to buy the pack just because they see a colorful pack. We're not even thinking who grew this weed, who what chemicals and what type of soil did they use, how long did they grow it, was it a fast grow, what type of light did they use, was it natural light or was it artificial light. These type of things you want to question, you want to ask yourself these things before you dibble and dabble into things like that. So yes, I love marijuana, but I do believe even me myself, I should definitely take that transition into putting it in my teas and putting it in, like, dinner meals and things like that for the right reasons. So it's not drying up my blood cells or it's not killing my brain cells. Um, and anybody who smoke, you could feel that feeling when you first wake up in the morning. Like, you just become so addicted to that feeling of, oh, I gotta go to sleep high. Like, for me, I still, some nights, like, I don't go to sleep until I allow myself to smoke. That's a bad thing, and I'm admitting that out loud. But the first step to changing is admitting. And when you're able to admit that to yourself, like, okay, I have this problem. Let me go here and let me change this. But back to fasting, with me fasting, it's been very so much beneficial to throughout my day. It helps me concentrate on other things other than just eating and just going places and, like, you go to a corner store and you stop by a corner store and you just buy junk food just because you got the money. Or you eat at any given time. You eat at 1 o'clock. I used to wake up early morning and just eat, and then wonder why by the end of the night, like, it becomes an addictive process to the point I'm overeating even when I ain't hungry no more. And, for those who think I'm, pretty skinny for my size, I used to be very much bigger. So that's more of a reason why I could be possibly prone to going back if I don't pay attention to my diet. Diet is very important, especially to have a schedule of the types of foods that you want to eat throughout the week. Do educational calories and different things that comes inside of whatever food you buy. Start growing your own food if possible at home. We never know what shift the world may have, so even if it's just an experiment, hey, do your experiment and start taking the fruits and the different things that you use and use the seeds to start growing new and different crops throughout the day. And another thing that I'm big on with fasting is it's so much easier said than done. But the strong purpose of fasting is really to detox the whole entire system, the respiratory system, but really also to have an understanding and to be able to be relatable to those who don't have access to food every day, who cannot just eat at any given moment. Everybody has their own trials and tribulations in areas like that. So fasting from social media, that's another big thing. Not just fasting from foods, fasting from technology, fasting from certain people, because as social beings, we always have to interact with people, at least if it's one time throughout the day. Some people will consider themselves lucky, but also it's necessary and it's important that we socialize with other people. But you still want to fast from low vibrations and negative energy. You want to be aware of the sacred energy that you put yourself in a room with and the different people that you allow to have access to you. Fasting for me, I don't know, this is going to be a long journey because I still got, I'm only 15 days in, so I still got about 25, no. Yeah, I still got about 25 more days to go. So, y'all gonna be able to see the journey with me. I think I've been doing this since, I'm gonna find out specifically what vlog I've been doing this since. I think I've been doing this since the third vlog. I've been starting this fast, so y'all gonna be able to see on this journey with me the process of me and my body, especially. I've been going to the gym lately. Me and Ma, we just went and got a gym membership yesterday. We renewed our gym membership at the Jewish Community Center, and whenever I get in that setting, it's like I just hop in this mode where I give it my all, I give 100%, and I don't look back. Like, you gotta push yourself sometimes. You gotta motivate yourself more than anybody because your biggest motivator will be yourself. Nobody else gonna be there, and nobody can motivate you. Like, I can give motivational words to a person, but I can't make that spark on the inside, that flame, just make them burst and say, okay, well, I want to do this. Now, people are very influential. Never mistake the power of influence. But if you want to influence somebody, lead by example. Don't be trying to tell them what's good for them or not. Try to lead by example and be a good example for people who need to do things like that in life. A fair exchange has never been a robbery. A fair exchange of taking away smoking marijuana for baking marijuana, it's not a robbery for me. A fair exchange of saving money versus overspending money, it's not a robbery for me. It's a true blessing, a fair exchange, and it's never been a robbery. You gotta understand there's different things like taking away negative people out your life for positive people. That's not a robbery. It's a fair exchange. It's something that's good for you. So always keep that principle in your head. A fair exchange has never been a robbery. I thank God every single morning. I want to do this on this vlog for waking me up. To be able to look outside and see a life operating. To wake up in the box that we live in, and still to be appreciative of the fact that I'm not living in a cold setting where I have to adapt to different weathers. But at the same time, I'm strongly yin and yang about that because why? I believe that we have been censored and washed down to a point to where people, they don't even know how to operate in hard times. If we ever had a situation in life where people had to stay outside, sleep outside, people would complain. People would explain and make a million excuses why they can't do it. Me, I believe that we are supposed to be outside and living our best life outside, and that I believe in living in houses that is still connected, indoors, open setting. Like, yeah, we live in the new times, but the Western America is at a huge fall right now. And I'm just gladly watching it. Like, I'm watching consciousness elevate. I'm watching my own consciousness elevate. I'm watching the way that younger people are becoming more advanced. As we said on a podcast yesterday that will be uploaded very soon, children are very more advanced than adults. Children are more intellectual in areas that you would think so. We got to give strong appreciation to the babies that are coming in because one day they will all be our leader and they will be leading us to battle and victory of a better world. But I want the world to keep this in mind. Say the world do become better and it gets better. It doesn't stop new challenges. Life is everlasting. And in order to grow as a person or as a being in a certain experience, you must go through pain and suffrage. And to go through pain and suffrage is to understand that this is what it takes to become. And when you use that to become, you understand that if the whole world is living inside good times, who would truly find any true purpose or something to become from? I just believe if we ever come in a time of peace and the whole world unifies, that eventually new challenges for the world will come, but we can all say that we conquered and we came together as one and we resurrected positive energy in the world. And I believe that that's possible. I believe that anything we put our mind to is possible, but I definitely cannot see a world without problems and challenges and tests that come from God. Because how could the people grow? How could they learn who they are? How could you learn self-knowledge and self-mastery? And you need to learn that through challenges, through other people, through different beasts, and through different crossroads that you'll be going on. So always keep an open mind to your crossroads that you'll have to go through. I also wanted to speak and touch on different water bottles. We spoke on this on a vlog previously with Chosen and my other few selected brothers, how we talked about best waters. Now, I'm not going to play this video specifically. I was going to play it, but actually, I'm going to play this video and I'm going to let him best explain in a better understanding of what I'm trying to get at, and then I'm going to go into my own personal thoughts.
Here's how to buy the best water at Whole Foods. Avoid anything with plastic because you never know, with the heat, the plastics can leach into the water. This alkaline and electrolyte water is no good. Enhanced with...
And when he said the plastic can leap into the water, whatever he said. When you leave a bottle of water inside of a hot setting room, that's why everybody should stop with drinking Gatorades and everything else that is always in huge shipments and hot places and places that's always transferring, because the plastic starts to decay and the plastic is all inside of the bottle and it sits in hot factories for weeks. It goes it goes truck to truck, load to load, and once you start drinking it, you're drinking the plastic.
Electrolytes for taste, so they added them in. They're not natural ingredients. Essentia is garbage. You have the electrolytes added back in, but they also add sodium bicarbonate, which is baking soda. So this will dehydrate you and make you more thirsty. Smart water is also garbage. Basically the same ingredients as Essentia. If you can't find glass and you have to get plastic, then I would recommend Evian, because those electrolytes and minerals are actually coming from natural earth. Ingredients only come from nature. Here's a very good water, Starkey spring water in glass. The source is the Starkey hot springs. Wow. Another very good option is Saratoga natural spring water in glass. It's spring water that comes from the White Cedar Springs. Very, very good. And the number one best water is the Mountain Valley spring water, bottled in the Wahida Mountains. They show you the natural occurring electrolytes. It also comes in the glass container. This is my best and my favorite one.
And I want to emphasize how he says it comes in a glass container. For those who know the power of plastic and rubber and different things, us as being electrical beings, things like cloth, plastic, rubber, it all reduces electricity. And we are not able to get the electricity because we're drinking specifically from the bottle, and that's hindering. And plus, especially say if it's already got a lot of plastic chemicals or plastic pieces all in it, it's overpowering any form of electricity that you're supposed to be getting, and you're having more of a problem than you having it benefit you to your soul. Now, it was another video I really wanted to touch on people understanding how we are everything and everything is us, and the same above is the same below, and how we must always be mindful of our healing methods, of our eating methods, and the way that we see the world. And there's never an accurate way to see the world, because perspective is different for everybody. Everyone has their own perspective, and no one shares the same perspective. So the world can never see the same thing. We could all agree to disagree. We could all be in the same book, even if we're on different pages. But no one will ever be able to read the word the way I read the word. Nobody will ever be able to say this is that the way I could say this is that through experience and different things like that. But I want to touch on how the same above is the same below.
As above, so below. In order to understand the earth, you must understand the sky. To understand yourself, you must understand the earth. As you go through this, what you begin to see is that we are all related in a natural progression. And that if ever you need to find out an answer to the most challenging of problems or challenges that you have, just go back to nature. That is what sustained people for so long. Was whenever we had a problem, we went back to the source, which is nature. nature will answer all things. And I just use like a dog as an example. When a dog gets sick,
He goes for his medicine.
eats grass, drinks water, and rests. Don't go to no doctor. Just eat grass, which is the herbs, drinks water, which flushes out the problem, and rests. That's nature. That's all we need to do. As above, so.
And nature is like anybody who don't believe me, stay in the house and test this out for yourself if you even strong enough to do this, because that's really tapping into the darkness. Stay in your house, apartment, whatever. Stay there as long as possible. Try to limit your store runs and this, that, and the third as much as possible during the daytime. And then a week later, go outside and see how it is breathing consistently the air of outside, being in sunlight, feeling that organic breeze, that oxygen from the trees that we breathe, versus being in a cluttered room filled with different, like right now, I'm in a place that's holding air. Like, this is not pure. This window right here, it's not open. It's not even a window that's capable of being open. So it can't even let it flow. It is a window up the hallway with pure air coming in, but overall, you got all the air dust. You got from the carpets, from the people swinging open and closing their doors, from their own apartments, from people hot breath to my hot breath, to all of it. You know what I'm saying? Another thing though, I extremely want to talk about perspectives. So I'm about to play this, and then I want to talk deep into the power of perspective. Now, I always speak on the power of perspective, but it's never enough to speak about it, because perspective is so powerful. It's a virtue. It's something that people should pay as best attention to, because you'll never get an accurate perspective of someone that's accurate because you don't have their life.
Avoid the company of people who talk or gossip too much. Yeah. Because this tendency, these habits of people who are themselves disturbed in their mind, they can't help it. And they'll come to you to unload, unburden on you. But even if you feel you're helping them by listening, they cannot get rid of this burden. They'll just go to someone else and keep unburdening themselves like this. When people speak, don't just believe everything people say, especially about the world. They're not telling you what is truth about the world. They're only showing you what is inside their mind. So you stay in the neutrality of your own natural being.
And like they said, we never learn nothing one time. So I'm gonna play that video back. But as he say, that's why you always want to be so self-aware when it comes to things like being in the area too much where you're speaking too much. There is always a time to talk, and there is always a time to listen, but it is necessary to do both talking and listening. You cannot do too much talking without any listening, and you cannot do too much listening without any talking. It is a human need to talk and to listen, so you must find balance in order to talk and listen. Do not listen to people who tell you they have the whole world figured out. I will always tell you, do your own research. I don't have the world figured out. I'm a man who has knowledge. I know that I do not know enough. I know as a wise man that I am still a fool, because the more wise I become, the more foolish I become, because you're buying so many different beliefs. You don't know which belief to believe. You don't know what to. So that's why really tapping into self, getting your own personal placebo and your own personal beliefs, and talking to God and having your prayers to God and having your own affirmations and meditation time. This is all necessary, and having that time of silence. They say when you go silent, that's the most time of, they say when you go silent, that's the greatest form of spiritual awakening, because you're allowing the thoughts to flow. And another principle to keep, never try to own your thoughts. Let your thoughts be like water, and they come and they go, they come and they flow. Do not try to grab the water and try to hold the water and try to hold on to certain things, okay? But I'm gonna play this video again.
Avoid the company of people who talk or gossip too much. Yeah. And because this tendency, these habits of people who are themselves disturbed in their mind, they can't help it. And they'll come to you to unload, unburden on you. But even if you feel you're helping them by listening, they cannot get rid of this burden. They'll just go to someone else and keep unburdening themselves like this. When people speak, don't just believe everything people say, especially about the world. They're not telling you what is truth about the world. They're only showing you what is inside their mind. So you stay in the neutrality of your own natural being. Avoid the...
I don't know about y'all, but I don't believe anything anybody say. Somebody can tell me something, and then I sit there with myself and I ask and I consult myself, do we want to buy this belief? Because if this belief is not beneficial to me, why am I buying this belief? If it's not helping me grow, if it's not helping me be bigger or be any better, or mentally, not better than anybody else, but better than who I was, better than who I was yesterday, why take it? Why buy the belief? No need. Always another big principle that I always tell myself and I tell other people. Always practice the things that you preach to people. You can preach to people all day and share knowledge. You're sharing knowledge that was given to you, but you must implement the knowledge that you're sharing. You must implement first before sharing. You must be able to say, I can embody this because this is who I am, before you go around telling other people what they can and can't do. For me, I'm a knowledge seeker. I love seeking knowledge. Every single day I wake up and I feel like I gotta at least learn 5 things. I can't even say one thing because I feel like after the one thing, that's when the other 4 roll in. But that's just probably the least of the least, because every single day is something to learn. Like, you can't even say you learn 5 things. I promise you, if you sit back and you really pay attention, and if you watch the world around you, watch everything around you as much to your best ability, you'll start to see. You'll see and you'll understand on another level. Like, knowledge is here, there. Just like opportunity. I just watched the video. Now watch. I'm about to have y'all watch this with me, but because you're going to word it better. I can word it myself. But as he said, though, it's like I want to say the respiratory system, but that's in your body, not the respiratory system. It's a different word for it. But basically, say if I tell myself this as an affirmation, it's a mind thing. I want to get the word, and he gonna say it, but it's not the same way that I was taught the first time. Saying, if I look out and I look for this red car, and I tell myself I want a red car. Now, everywhere I go, no matter if I'm walking, driving, on the bus, I'm gonna continuously see red cars because that's something that I really want, that I focus and I train my brain to focus on. But I'm about to play this video so then y'all get a better understanding of exactly what I'm getting at, what I'm trying to say. But as I was saying, the same thing goes for
Have you ever heard of the red car theory?
Nope, totally.
Okay, Zach, you drove here today from your house.
Yes, sir.
How many red cars did you see?
I'm gonna go with 62.
No, but do you know that?
No.
Okay, so that you can think of and you're sure, how many red cars did you see?
0.
Okay, but if I told you before you left your house that I was gonna give you $100 for every red car that you saw on the way here,
Yeah.
would that have changed things?
100%.
Okay, so
it opens something in your mind that is open visually, and you can catch red cars at any given moment. It's something in your brain, and I do have the word for it. That's why every day, having repetition and constantly learning knowledge, because you never learn nothing one time. So if you want to be able to share something to somebody, and if you ever have a time where you triple and you stumble on your words, always constantly go relearn the things that you learned before. If you want to share information correctly, never give out incorrect information. And if you know that your information that you're giving out isn't 100% accurate, always tell the person go do research, or just don't give the information at all, because you're not going to be able to word it to where someone can understand you of what you're saying, or like I like to say, you're not going to be able to speak in tongues.
Opportunity is exactly the same. If you wake up every day and you are not looking for opportunity, you will not see it. It could be right there.
Right.
It could be next to you at the red light. It could be right next to you parked at the CVS. It could be right in front of your face, but because you're not looking for it, you didn't see it.
Right.
They're all over. Have you ever heard of the red car theory?
Opportunities is all over. They everywhere. So I want to close out with that. Thank y'all for tuning in with me in the life of Ghostman on $150. Words of encouragement. Today will be amazing. Every day will be amazing as your mindset. First start by changing your mindset within, and everything around you will change without. Shift the way that you see the world within, and the world will change around you. Always look for that peace, love, positive energy. Positive energy always creates elevation. Peace. Peace to the gods and the goddesses. I see everybody later.